Childhood obesity. Now, if there is, I don't think there's another topic that makes me feel more concerned than childhood obesity, and it's not because of the appearance or because of the individual in itself, it's because of what it says about society as a whole, in the sense that we're going through a time now where the NHS is already overloaded, where people have less disposable income, where children are, for the first time in 70 years, growing up in households where they will be in future poorer than their parents. And this means that they have to become far more self-sufficient at being able to maintain a healthy lifestyle and not rely on the state. Because when it comes to the state, like the NHS and our welfare system, it is highly stressed, and it's very, very unlikely that our children are going to grow up in an environment where the state is going to take care of them as much as they did us or our parents, for example. Now, this poses an issue because thanks to the innovation of modern medicine, people are living longer than they ever have done before, but at the same time they're getting sicker earlier than they ever have done before, which means that they're going to have to rely, if we keep going in this direction, on some form of intervention keeping them alive, whether that is metformin for their diabetes, ramipril for their high blood pressure, statins for their cholesterol, and the likelihood of them having to have a limb amputated because their diabetes is so far gone is going to become far more likely. So like I said, I don't think it's right to place blame on the individual when it comes to obesity, and the reason why is that this is the first time, the last say 20 years, the first time in the history of humanity where our environments actually want us to, or environments are obesogenic, i.e. they cause us to put on weight. I could take £1.50 down to the off license every day, down to newsagents every day, and pick up enough calories in sweet food and chocolates and crisps, etc., to enable me to put on weight for the foreseeable future. Same thing with smoking. Even though individuals were educated on an individual level as to why smoking is bad, it actually took a government influence or government intervention, i.e. banning smoking in certain areas, to try and control smoking. And I think that's the way that we really need to have a look at our children and our children in today's society and understand that they are a herd of individuals that need to be controlled rather than putting complete ownership on the individual. However, for the meantime, let's speak about how you as an individual can help the children that you know and even yourself to control your weight and to live a healthy lifestyle. So the first thing I want to talk about is treats. Now, it's very, very common with the parents that I'm speaking to about their children who are heavier than they should be, which is impacting their joint health, impacting their mental health, their cardiovascular health, etc., that they're essentially eating way too many treats. For example, a packet of crisps at lunch, another packet of crisps when they get home from school, 2 or 3 chocolate bars when they get in, and as well as that, a chocolate bar at school. Now, this is something that is not uncommon. This is something I hear about a lot of the time. So then we have to ask, what is the actual function of you treating your child 5 times a day, or even twice a day, I would say, is excessive. What is the function of it? Are you treating your child? Okay, if so, what have they done well to warrant you treating them 3 to 5 times a day? Could you treat them in a different way? Could you complement their behaviour in another way that doesn't resolve around food? Might be a hard habit to break, but it will be very, very good for you to do so. The second question is, are you treating your child, or are you actually trying to pacify them? Are you trying to get them to stop bothering you or to keep them entertained? And if that's the case, then anything from technology or sweet food, anything which revolves them moving less or eating more, is probably a bad thing. Maybe we could have an idea or think about a chart that you develop through the week that complements their good behaviour, and they add up those tallies at the end of the week to actually do something active and fun at the weekend. They'll still get a nice dopamine kick and a feel-good hormone release from seeing the tally chart go up, but at the same time you're improving their health, you're improving their sense of delayed gratification, which is correlated to being better at studying and better grades and a better professional life in future. So that will be a much better thing to do than treating your kids multiple times per day. The other question that you should be asking yourself is, when you're feeding your children, how much of this food that you're giving them do you think you could have grown in your garden if your garden was big enough? Could you have farmed it in your garden? Does it look like something that could have come from your garden? If so, then it probably means that you're eating quite a healthy diet. However, if what you're eating doesn't look anything like what could have grown in your garden, for example, if you're eating oven chips, which don't really resemble a potato, wedges, or just cooked potatoes, roasted potatoes would probably be a better option. If you're eating chicken nuggets, doesn't really look like it comes from a chicken. Going more towards a natural source would be better. Even bread has been processed from wheat. Would it be better to consume something like rice and bulk it out with some vegetables? It tends to be that if you can fill up half your plate with your plants, then your level of satisfaction will increase, which means that you'll be less hungry throughout the day, but also your level of nutrition will increase, which will mean that you have higher energy for longer during the day, rather than these processed foods which are in and out your system just as quick as you eat them. The other thing for parents is you really need to accept that your child's health is in your hands. Unless your child is making their own money and they have their own car and they're able to get to places by themselves, your child's health is very much in your hands, and it's very important that you take responsibility for it. That's one thing that we're having to work with a lot of the time with parents, is that they bring them to us and they say, my child is like this, they're like that, they do this, and they eat this, and they don't want this. And they present their child to us as a problem. And this is actually a bit counterintuitive, because the parent is the problem in this case. The child comes into this world as a blank canvas. The child is shaped by the environment of the home, and obviously outside the home as well. But you're the one, as the parent, who has the most control over your child. And it's very important that you also control yourself and build discipline in yourself when it comes to your habits, and don't ask your child to do what you ask them without expecting them to do what they see, because most of the time your child will do what they see, not what they're told. So if they see that you are eating an unhealthy diet and that you don't exercise, then they're probably going to come to the conclusion that that's absolutely fine and that's okay to do. So you need to set an example as best as you can. The last question is, and the last thing to focus on is, does the environment in your home foster, does your home foster an environment for health? Do you pride exercise as a family? Do you do things which are active together? Are you curious and explorative? Do you like to check out new places or go on new walks or bike rides, try new sports, etc.? Do you like to try new foods, new recipes, new cuisines from around the world? Do you pride yourself in the number of fruits and vegetables that you eat during the day? Do you pride yourself on your food shop? Are you proud of yourself when you look at your shopping basket, for example? Are you able to educate your children on all the benefits that you're giving them when it comes to the fruits and the vegetables and the whole foods that you're feeding them? Get them involved in cooking, for example, so they can actually understand from the roots of the fruit the benefits of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So those are just a few tips that you could work on. One is asking yourself, does your child need treating that often? Two, asking yourself how much food you eat. Could you actually grow in your garden to make sure you're consuming a natural diet? Three, accepting that your child's health is in your hands. They are not an independent person yet. And the fourth is asking, does your environment foster health for your family and for your children? Now, if you need any help with improving the health of your family, you know exactly where we are. You can contact us at any time. You can book in a free consultation as well at www.revitaliseclinic.co.uk/book-appointment. And of course, reach out to us online, let us know how you're getting on. But I hope this video has been helpful for you today. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day.